Welcome back to my channel, Shar Apart. I am Shar. I'm gonna put this on this view here while I'm reading. Um, I needed to stay in bed today uh, for extended amount of time. I had an MRI, which I'll tell you guys about it next week. Uh, it doesn't show anything needs surgery, so that's good news. I can tell you that much. But it was so long it hurt. So I am still in pain. All right, so let's begin. Today was the first day of kindergarten for both Persia and Penelope. They were both there were different levels of excitement, but a, but a majority of this was because they had new items for school and backpacks arriving at school. Some of the excitement faded to a low hum. Neither as they arrived at school, neither Persia nor Penelope had good memories of being in a place with a lot of other children. Nanny Amara walked Persia to her class and walked around looking at the different cubbies and groups of stations. Persia had begged her mom and dad with rare tears they had never seen her shed to go to regular public school. She might be 5, but she could read well enough to see the freedom allotted other children who were not escorted everywhere they went. Please, plus recess. She never had a recess. As far as she could understand, none of the children from Little Prodigy Academy were allowed to play outside. To play outside. No, she was seeing toys, paint, and texture stations, and the playground out through the door. Swings, slides, teeter totters, small merry-go-rounds, jungle gyms, and bouncing horses. She couldn't wait to play on every one of them, and as far as she was concerned, it was worth dealing with all the negative words and comments from her parents. There was no time in her life she'd been allowed to play on equipment or in obstacle courses, which would have done her some real good physically. As Nanny Amora took her to the hallway to say goodbye, she looked down to the double doors with the label playground. As she did, she saw a tall, curly girl passing with darker skin than many had at the little Prodigy Academy, and with a strange golden brown highlight in her light brown hair. Her skin and hair were almost the same colors, except the golden strands twirling through her hair in loops and twirls and squigglies. Their eyes met briefly as Persia was turning to go in her classroom, and Nanny Mara was letting go of her hand. Penelope arrived in front of the school, her nervousness showing a bit of how she started, how showing a bit in how she stared and played with her fingers. Her mom and dad both see both showed up, but dad wanted the toss up for who would take her to class, so mom went to register and finish paperwork as Doll walked her to her classroom. Penelope looked up at her doll. Daddy, there's a lot of kids here. More than when I was in preschool. Her eyes were full of worry, and her doll could see she was barely keeping a brave face. He kneeled down in front of her, kissing her on the forehead. Penelope, my brave darling princess. There are more children of different ages in an elementary school. This is why you see more children. However, the bigger kids are down the other hallway. They should not be down this hallway without a teacher or adult at any time. If you ever see this, run and tell a teacher. Go to the first one you can find. Also, from looking around, he turns her to slowly look at the passing children. They are all just as nervous as you feel. Look, some are in tears, and they are smaller than you. Dear, these are the ones in your kindergarten year. Some are crying because this is their first time in school or the first time around so many children in a new environment. As her doll finished talking, with a hug, he kissed her cheek and a smile, and he rose and took her hand, as if escorting a lady to a ballroom. This made her smile, and how he explained made her feel braver. If others were feeling worse than her, she would hope to help them be less scared or sad or scared. As she passes the first classroom door, she saw a lady with a fancy dress skirt and vest, and a little girl with straight dark hair and dark brown highlights. Her face was smiling, smiling brighter than anyone else's face today in this hallway for the little kids. She seemed more than happy she was with the lady, but like she was going to the fairgrounds. That was very similar to the smile Penelope saw on the face of her ma and da during this summer trip to the fairgrounds. She wondered why and couldn't help looking longer as she passed. How was she so cheery on a day she would be away from her parents longer than other any other until up until starting school? It it almost made Penelope remember she would be away from her ma and da for a long time. The tears were beginning to well up. Just before the first was ready to leave her eyes, she saw the girl look directly at her with a curious expression and smile, and her bright smile, and her bright smile was aimed at her. She tilted her head as the lady let go to walk away, and her smile changed just a bit from excitement to a gentle smile with curiosity she'd never seen before. Now that smile and curious expression filled her mind as she said goodbye with a tight hug to her doll. That's the end of that part. I wanted to get more written because I wanted to get like their experience at school and how they responded to it at home, but I wasn't able to because I was at you know going I had two appointments this week and they were back to back, so they took up all the rest of my week. And now I'm in like recuperating from being in pain from sitting in the MRI. So I'm gonna continue writing on that today, so I can have that response to today in my next reading, and then have a response to how they feel having been in school for a little bit, so you guys can see a little bit more before we start passing into July. And I expect to finish this one this month. But we only got about one full week left, and there's a few things I remember I wanted to put into the story. So, if not all of it this coming week, then at least by the beginning uh, of the next month, maybe like day 5, like the second, either after the 7th or just before the 7th, then I should be with the last chapters. They would finish up this book, and then I'll be writing but not reading until the rest of the year until winter starts. That way I can catch up on some of the drawing. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Sorry it was so short, but I'll be making it longer for next week. Have a good weekend. Bye bye.